action, action. Lights, camera, action. Let's go. Lights, camera, action, action. Pop up a little, pop up a little.
I'm Mark Ramsey. I'm talking today to Rob Favre. Rob, as you may know, is the newly kicked upstairs guy in charge of Triton Digital Streaming. Not quite in charge, Rob. Technically, it's Chief Compliance Officer and General Manager of Data and Analytics, right?
That's correct.
And that's is there an acronym wrapped up in that?
I don't know. Can we make one up?
I'd like to try. It would take more time than we have.
Let's just know that I have to have two business cards held end to end just to put the title on.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The reason I'm talking to Rob is because something really interesting happened last week that I think is worthy of a lot of attention, and that is the MRC, the guys who put their seal of approval on the way ratings methodologies happen across platforms, has placed their accreditation on the technologies and the processes and the systems of formerly Ando Media, now Triton Digital Streaming. So congratulations for getting the MRC's seal of approval, Rob.
Thank you. It was an incredible process, and I'm glad we've made it to this point.
Now, this is the same seal that Arbitron has, that they're actually struggling to get in some PPM markets, and they have in other PPM markets. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time any audio medium outside of the Arbitron methodology in the domestic U.S. radio space has been given MRC accreditation?
To the best of my knowledge, it is. This is the first time that MRC has actually worked with a census-based streaming organization, us, to collect that measurement, transform it, and present it.
So, just to be clear, when you say census-based, what you mean is that everyone who uses the technology is counted, as opposed to what Arbitron, for example, does, which is sampling people who use the technology, right?
Correct. There's no black magic involved here. One counts for one. When we're on the internet and we're measuring anyone streaming any audio source on that internet, we're counting them as an individual.
Okay. Now, first of all, why is MRC accreditation so important?
It's really about the confidence in the data that we collect. The MRC accreditation for us really covered the entire gamut of what we do as a company. It looked at our data collection methods that we use, the way that we transform that data. How do we take the idea that a session started, it lasted this long, and it ended at this time, and transform that into active sessions, average active sessions, total listening hours. And then how do we present that data to our customers? So it literally takes it from the top to bottom and gives us the confidence in that data that advertisers, that publishers can use to go actually set their CPMs, to sell their inventories. And that's where we're at with it.
So essentially what you're saying is this is not just a green flag for your methodologies. This is also a sign to the advertisers that this is an accepted mechanism. This is an accepted, a suitable, a workable, appropriate, a dependable, a trustworthy way to go about measuring audiences and measuring delivery of your advertising messages, right?
Completely. And what it really comes down to is the accreditation means that as a company, we are now the people who are collecting streaming data, presenting it for use, and you have complete faith in that data, that it's been collected properly, it's been transformed properly, it's secure, and that we're presenting it back to you properly.
Now, it took you a long time to get this accreditation, and I assume that that it's very difficult to get. Can you talk about that?
The entire accreditation experience is much more than just looking at the numbers that we collect and how we collect them and then present them. It really goes through every aspect of our corporation, from the development practices that we use and the methods, the controls that we have in place, the security that we have wrapped around our production environment, our test environment, our QA environment, enhancements and defect management, our support group, our training group. The accreditation process through that audit basically touched on all of that. And touched on is the wrong word. It took a deep dive into it. Mm-hmm. And, we use this as an opportunity for us to become a better company. When we worked with the auditors and they would find some deficiency or some item that needed remediation, we use that as an opportunity to step up and not only give them the bare minimum, but what would you consider an industry standard and something that we can build on through continual improvement going forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, there has been some discussion over time. Obviously, you guys have created some new metrics, which is essential given the the novelty of the medium you're working with. And there's been some discussion and debate over time about the nature, the character of some of those metrics. Does this accreditation mean anything about those metrics? Does it mean that those metrics are now the metrics to a degree?
And my take on it is it absolutely does. And if you look at what used to be in place, and you would look at an average quarter hour, based on the old definition of an average quarter hour, you're looking at something that was based on engagement of 5 minutes over a 15-minute period of time, and that's the way that radio, traditional broadcast radio, was bought and sold based on that metric. Well, now you move into the new days that we've got in front of us right now, and what we're looking at is an average minute. Has someone listened longer than a minute? And how can you use that? And how does that work for session starts, which is an indicator of how many pre-roll opportunities you may have? Mm-hmm. So what we've done with these new metrics is we've tried to create metrics that are more relevant than the AQH that existed 40 years ago when radio stations used to broadcast 15-minute shows.
Mm-hmm. And by relevant, you mean both useful and true, and I guess useful for both the publisher, the broadcaster, and the advertiser, right?
Exactly. These are metrics that they cover the full circle. You're looking at the ability to go sell, the ability of the advertiser to use it to determine what they want to buy, and then complete the full circle and set your CPMs, go out there and make the deal happen.
Okay. And since this announcement came out last week about the, this capability that you have you gotten, what has been the response from your clients, your publisher clients, and most importantly, the clients of those clients, the advertisers? How have people responded?
So it's been incredibly positive. I've gotten over a dozen phone calls, and remember, we announced this on Thursday. So Friday was nothing but answering the phone, and it was largely congratulatory in nature. Thank God you're there. We knew that it was that, but now you've got it, and we're going to make use of it. And that's the way it's coming across. And that's from both publishers and advertisers.
Terrific. Rob Favre, live from Las Vegas, I might add, Rob, from the beautiful Bellagio Hotel. Rob Favre, and what room are you in, Rob? No,
there you go.
Rob is the Chief Compliance Officer and you'll forgive me for reading this, and General Manager of Data and Analytics for Triton Digital Streaming, Triton Digital Media. Congratulations on the MRC accreditation, Rob, and congrats on all the stuff you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.